The year is 75 BC. A young Roman nobleman, just 25 years old, is traveling across the Aegean Sea. His name? Gaius Julius Caesar. He's ambitious, sharp-tongued, and already sees himself as someone destined for greatness. But on this journey, fate intervenes. The ship he's on is intercepted by a band of Cilician pirates, notorious for raiding these waters. They swarm the vessel, swords flashing, and capture him along with several others. For most men, this would be a terrifying ordeal. But for Caesar, it becomes a defining moment. The pirates take him to a small rocky island off the coast of Asia Minor. They're laughing, jeering, expecting to ransom him for a modest sum. They don't realize who they've just captured. When they name their price, 20 talents of silver, Caesar scoffs. 20? He laughs in their faces. You have no idea who I am. Demand at least 50. Yes, you heard that right. Caesar raises his own ransom. And not just as a boast, he actually sends his men to gather the money. For the next 38 days, he remains on the island, waiting for his ransom to be delivered. But here's where things get interesting. Caesar isn't just a prisoner. He acts as if he's in charge. He demands that the pirates remain silent when he wants to sleep. He joins in their games and conversations. He even starts ordering them around. At first they laugh. They've never met a prisoner like this. But soon they start obeying. Now imagine this: Caesar, a captive, composing poetry. He writes speeches and performs them for his captors. And when they fail to praise him properly, he mocks them, calls them illiterate. He even promises that once he's free, he will return to capture and execute them all. The pirates laugh, assuming it's another of his jokes. But it's not a joke. Not at all. Finally, the ransom is paid. Caesar is released. The pirates let him go, probably still chuckling to themselves. What an amusing young Roman. But Caesar? He's not done with them. Not by a long shot. Picture this. The moment his feet hit the shore, he doesn't go home. He doesn't rest. Instead, he heads straight to the nearest city, Miletus, and raises a small naval force. No hesitation, no delay. Within days, he's back on the sea, hunting down the very men who had held him captive. And he finds them. Still anchored at their hideout. Still reveling in their spoils. This time there's no laughter. Caesar storms the island, captures every last one of them, and personally ensures they are imprisoned. But here's where his brilliance, his sheer audacity, shines through. The local governor, whom he technically needs approval from, is dragging his feet about punishing the pirates. He's a politician after all. He's thinking of selling them into slavery, profiting off them. But Caesar? He's already made a promise. So what does he do? He takes matters into his own hands. Without waiting for orders, he marches to the prison, drags the pirates out, and has them crucified. Every last one of them. A brutal punishment, but a common one for criminals in Rome. And yet, here's another glimpse of Caesar's character. Before their execution, he grants them one mercy. Because he had lived with them, because he had laughed with them, he orders their throats slit first. A quick death instead of the prolonged agony of crucifixion. This entire incident is more than just a thrilling story of capture and revenge. It tells us everything about the man Julius Caesar was becoming. Think about it. He wasn't a man to cower or break under pressure. Even in captivity, he held himself above his captors. He wasn't content to be a victim. The moment he was free, he took decisive action without hesitation. He wasn't just bold, he was daring. Who else would insult their kidnappers, raise their own ransom, and then actually return to carry out their threats? And most importantly, he wasn't bound by the rules of others. When faced with slow bureaucracy, he took justice into his own hands. This is the same man who years later would lead legions into Gaul. The same man who would defy the Senate. The same man who, in 49 BC, would look at a shallow river called the Rubicon, the boundary he was forbidden to cross with an army, and without fear, without hesitation, step forward. He would say the words, Alia iacta iesti. The die is cast. This story, this moment with the pirates, was not just an adventure. It was a prophecy. It showed the world what kind of man Julius Caesar was. And the world would never be the same again. Now think about this. If you were in Caesar's place, would you have done the same? Would you have held yourself with such confidence? Would you have dared to return for vengeance? Or was this the spirit of a man truly destined for history? Let that thought sink in.